I believe majority of Sweden people would also believe that this is an exploitation of the freedom of expression. We believe that the only purpose for this is incitement of hatred. It's a manifestation of Islamophobia, which is getting more and more, unfortunately, prevalent. The attempt is to create a rift between Muslims and non-Muslims living in Sweden as well as in the rest of the world. The purpose of this person is to incite our emotions and our sentiments and get a reaction from the Muslim community, which he can use and say that, look, Muslims are violent people or Muslims are intolerant people.
Assalamu alaikum and welcome to Pakistan Observer. My name is Abdullah Malik and I'm your host for today. I'm joined with someone that is very important, holds a significant position, and makes decisions that are important in the important quarters of Pakistan and also the country that we're about to discuss. This conversation with Mr. Zahoor Ahmed, who is the Pakistani representation to Sweden, that is the Pakistani ambassador to Sweden, holds personal significance for me, having spent the last 4 years. And the topic that we're about to discuss is very close to my heart. So thank you, Mr. Zahoor, for giving us your time.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much for talking. It's always a pleasure to talk to young people who can give us new ideas. And I look forward to this conversation. Yes.
We will get straight into what we're here to discuss today, and that is the Quran burnings that keep happening in Sweden, especially over the last year and a half. That's something that hurts sentiments all across the world, and especially in Sweden, where these burnings essentially take place. So my first question to you, Zahoor Saab, would be, what makes it so easy for people to just get up and burn a copy of the Quran, or is there a procedure that needs to be followed? What's the steps that are taken before the burning actually takes place?
According to my knowledge, in order to do any demonstration in Sweden, you need to apply to the police, and the police processes it and gives the permission for it. Like in Sweden, has been a democracy for a long time, and according to their law and their traditions, everybody has the right to freedom of expression, and with this they can take permission for doing any kind of demonstrations. Now, having said that, we believe Pakistan and many other friends in the world, Muslims and non-Muslims, including a lot of people in Sweden. I believe majority of Sweden people would also believe that this is an exploitation of the freedom of expression, and the purpose of these demonstrations is not to express their opinion on anything. It is rather to incite hatred and to create problems between a minority religion in Sweden and the majority. I also believe, and most of my Swedish friends that I've been talking to also believe, that this is a very easy way to damage Sweden's national interests and its international reputation. But there are laws against incitement of racial and religious hatred in Sweden also. There is an action plan against Islamophobia also. The extent to which these acts are covered under that law is a gray area, and the Swedish government has recently challenged it in the court, and they would like the courts to clarify that, does this fall into the freedom of expression. Earlier, they had challenged this same act in the courts on the basis of the threat to security. But the courts did not accept that, and they said that the security provisions are something which the police needs to provide, and this cannot be an excuse for stopping these demonstrations. This is obviously a very tricky ground for Sweden as well as for us. We believe that the burning of any holy book is not a freedom of expression. We believe that the only purpose for this is incitement of hatred. It's a manifestation of Islamophobia, which is getting more and more, unfortunately, prevalent in different areas. We think that this is not in accordance with Sweden's image as a multi-ethnic, multi-religious society, where they have been a good friend of the Muslim world. They have been providing development assistance. They have been providing useful technology. They have been accepting refugees from conflict zones in the Muslim world. And by this incident, they have these people who are a very small minority, and basically right now it's one person who keeps on doing it again and again, and they are trying to create a rift between Sweden, between Europe, and the Muslim world. For us, the Holy Quran is the word of Allah, and every Muslim has a deep association with this with this book, which is the foundation of our religion. It is the first source of all our religious teachings. So the extent to which it damages the sentiments of Muslims everywhere is probably something which was not appreciated before. But every time that this incident has happened, we have been talking to our Swedish friends. We have been talking to the Swedish ambassador. We have been issuing statements from the Prime Minister to the Foreign Minister to the Foreign Office spokesperson. Everybody has made it very clear that what is our perspective on these kind of incidents. And we have also took a lead in OIC and in the Human Rights Council. And we had a resolution passed from the Human Rights Council, which talked about these issues and recently, and it was very clear that we believe that there should be laws and mechanisms in all countries to not let anybody exploit or use the garb of freedom of expression or any other garb to create this kind of disturbances in society and to hurt the feelings and sentiments of followers of one religion.
Obviously, you've expressed that on a personal level, आप feel करते हैं कि it's not freedom of expression, it's not freedom of speech, it's hurting almost 2 billion people across the globe. What do you people in Sweden, particularly around these burnings in Stockholm and other cities, what does a normal Swede feel about this, or what is the general public, what's their perception on this?
First, I would like to tell you what has been our interaction as ambassadors of representing Muslim countries, because the OIC resolution said that the ambassadors in these countries where these incidents are unfortunately happening should get in touch with the authorities there and explain our position to them and work together with them to build a dialogue and to build to try to find out a suitable way to address these issues. We have met collectively, and myself individually also. I've met the Foreign Minister Tobias Billstrom, and he has also been publicly very clear about this, that while they don't have the legal means currently to stop these incidents, they do not in any way endorse this. He said that the Muslims have in Swedish society have enriched the Swedish society. He said that this is a manifestation of Islamophobia. Sweden cannot stand by this. Similarly, the Prime Minister also came out very strongly against these incidents. Then we have in the Swedish media, we have been seeing voices, and this debate started a year or more ago when Rasmuspaludan, who is a Danish politician, lawyer, he came to Sweden and he tried to carry out such acts. And the initial reaction in the Swedish society was that he's not worthy of any attention or comment, and let's just ignore him. And once he doesn't get attention, then he won't do such things. And they also felt that if we stop these incidents, then it will open a Pandora box for restrictions on freedom of expression in other forms, and so there was a reluctance. Then now more recently, after the repeated attacks, repeated incidents like this, and also after seeing that many of the neighboring countries have been able to control these incidents. Finland has a law against burning of holy books. Denmark is planning to do something. They have announced it very soon that they are going to make legal changes. This sort of incident is not happening in many European countries or in Western countries. And that's why that led the Swedish society to believe, one, that this is not freedom of expression. And we have seen articles in major newspapers, including this gentleman who I had the chance of meeting also. He was the former State Secretary to Prime Minister Olof Palme. He wrote an article in one of the major newspapers in Aftonbladet. We recently had an article by Ashok Swan, who's a professor in conflict and peace studies in Uppsala University. He also in Gulf News. We've had many voices now who have come out very strongly and said that the way in which these demonstrations are occurring are now making it very clear that this is the attempt is to malign Sweden. The attempt is to create problems for Swedish foreign policy, particularly its NATO membership. The attempt is to create a rift between Muslims and non-Muslims living in Sweden as well as in the rest of the world. And Swedish businesses also which came against these incidents was from the Christian Council of Sweden, and the Archbishop of the Church of Sweden also condemned these incidents. The Pope, as we know, also came out. So it is not just that it's a question of Muslims' emotions. It is something which everybody feels that this does not fall within the parameters of freedom of expression. As soon as possible, the Swedish government has challenged it on the basis of their existing law on racial hatred. They have also tried to, they're working towards amendment in the Public Order Act, which allows the holding of such demonstrations. And they would like to put a provision within that so that such incidents don't happen. But that is a process which which I hope they can expedite, and we are urging them that they should expedite it. Person was holding a demonstration, similar demonstration. There was a Swedish lady who took a fire extinguisher and she tried to extinguish the fire. And I think there are a number of reasons why Swedish people find this unacceptable. One is that they, as I said, that it's becoming more and more multi-religious society, multi-ethnic society. There are, according to the Swedish foreign minister, there are about 10% of the population of Sweden follows Islam. Secondly, this is not what Sweden has been known for internationally. Internationally, Sweden has been known for a country which has been talked about, which has talked always about interfaith harmony, and which has been helpful to the developing countries, which has been a good source of technology, which has a relatively small population, but compared to that population, a very large number of international companies. So they find that this is very damaging for their reputation, and also they can realize that how much hurt it is causing to the Muslims who are living here and to the Muslims elsewhere.
Thank you again, Zahoor, for that very elaborate answer, and it covers again a lot of things that are important and a lot of things that are not very often discussed by important people like yourself. You have mentioned that there's obviously more to the story than what meets the eye, and it's not as simple as just one person getting up and burning the Quran. And there's a back end to the story of what's happening. In that light, you've also mentioned that the Muslim community has been pretty good at sort of dealing with whatever is happening. Peaceful, exactly. What would your recommendation be to Muslims, but more specifically the Pakistani diaspora in Sweden?
The Pakistani diaspora in Sweden is mostly consists of those people who have been educated in Swedish institutions, and they have studied in Sweden, and because till 2011 there was no fee even for international students, and then later on they decided to make this country their home. And these people are all very well aware of what are the Swedish values and what is the Swedish system. Like many Swedish people now also, they also believe that this is a contradiction to the values of the Swedish society, these kind of acts. I think we remaining as Muslims, this is something which is very close to our heart, and we cannot suppress our feelings. There are sentiments attached to the Holy Quran. There are sentiments attached to the Holy Prophet, and this gives us an opportunity also to explain to non-Muslims that why is the Quran so important to us? What does the Quran say, and what does the Prophet say? And the Prophet and Quran, they always preached for a dialogue, for peaceful, for peace. And we had in our when in the Muslim kingdoms, there was very rarely there was a prosecution of any religious minority. So this gives us an opportunity to show people that what are the true teachings of Islam, and we should obviously use all legal and peaceful means to express our opinion.